Hi, I'm Raleigh Cotrier from Matthews, Cotrier and Lindsay in Richland, Mississippi. Been a shareholder here for 30 plus years. Today I want to talk to you about sellers' considerations when selling their CPA firm. We've gone through a number of acquisitions of firms, and uh, these top five are compiled from a number of discussions we've had when acquiring firms. It's definitely not all inclusive, but it's a nice, concise group of questions, uh, and hopefully it will be beneficial to those considering selling their practice. The first one I want to address is to make sure that the buyer has a reputation of taking excellent care of their client. Is the buyer a good fit for your client base? Does the buyer have the expertise to satisfy and perhaps enhance or upgrade the client experience through additional expertise, technology, or staffing? Is the buyer in your locale, or will your clients have to travel further to the new office? Is the buyer's fee structure compatible with the seller's fee structure, or will the buyer have to pare down your client list by increasing their fees? The second thing to consider is the seller should take care of their existing staff. Try to secure at least one 1 year or 2 year deals for your key team members. Will you have to sign as a seller a 1 year or 2 year contract with the buyer in order for the transition to happen? Uh, does the seller have team members that will enhance the value of the deal? If so, maybe work out an additional compensation for them, or a bonus plan for them. Number three is to obtain a non-disclosure agreement prior to the due diligence process or phase, so that no client or proprietary information can be observed by the buyer and used unless the deal is completed. Now, at what point do you, as a seller, bring an attorney in? At the very latest, the review of the NDA. Once that happens, the attorney needs to be involved in the process as this process goes forward, particularly if offers are made or tentative offers are made. Number four is, what kind of deal will it be? Is the deal going to be a stock purchase, asset purchase, or transition agreement? Will it be cash up front? Not likely. Will there be a percentage of annual collections? That would be more likely. So as a seller, if you're paid somewhere between 80 to 100% of your collections over a period of years, that would be your typical deal. So let's just say you sell your practice for 100% of fees. You may get that at 20% a year for 5 years. Do you get to participate in the growth? So if you sell a practice of a $500,000 practice and it grows during that time from 500 to 550, do you get to participate in that growth? Most situations we do allow in situations we were buying, the seller does participate in that growth because you want them involved in it as much as possible. Will you be able to get any capital gain treatment? Will some of the deal be considered goodwill as opposed to all ordinary income? Will the seller sell their accounts receivable and work in process, or will you retain it and use that as for additional collections during that time period? Will you sell the computer equipment, furniture, and fixtures to the new buyer, or will you be responsible for selling it yourself? How will the purchasing firm provide proof to you that the collections have been received and what they're paying you from? Will you be entitled to review the buyer's records if an issue arises? So if you challenge that you thought the collection should be more, you should be able to obtain that information. Lastly, what is the seller's responsibility in transitioning clients? So do you have a responsibility to contact all the clients or just the key clients? And do you introduce, at the very least, you need to introduce the new staff that from the acquiring firm to the key clients, and preferably with the seller, with you present, or a member of your transition team. In closing, I would like to say that to make sure that you are selling for the right reason, not just because you had a bad tax. Thank you.
In closing, thank you for joining in on this Tax Section Odyssey episode. The AICPA Tax Section is your go-to source for technical content, guidance, and resources designed specifically for CPA tax practitioners like you in mind. For more, visit us at aicpa.org/tax.